Clearly, most North Americans have no ability to remember anything that happened even 5 years ago. 10 years ago, forget it. How many of you remember back during the first Trump administration how miserably this failed? But it's on everybody's lips again. This invasion Venezuela, we're going to go down and depose Maduro. How'd that work the first time Trump was in charge? I think a lot of people are like, wow, that was a long time ago, 16, 17, 18. It does seem like forever ago. We covered it on this channel, and a lot of people said, boy, Florida Maquis, we're going to laugh when Maduro gets deposed, and you're going to have to apologize and eat all this crow. Guess what? The man's still in charge. Did the country crumble and collapse? No. They're actually doing quite well. Compared to a lot of Americans, they're doing very, very well. You see, there's something everybody's missing because they don't understand the culture in South America. They'd rather be poor and have their guy in charge than be wealthy and be some U.S. puppet state. It's nationalism. Real quick, before we get into this breaking news alert, we have a brand new video over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel, and I'll warn you, it's a long one. It's over 30 minutes long, and it is a comprehensive breakdown of the 12 most popular psychological operations, tactics, and techniques that the media is using right now to keep people uninformed, to keep people misinformed, to keep people in an emotional state so that they don't stop, take a breath, think, look at the information coldly, clinically, and logically, and then make a rational assumption of what the truth is for themselves. If you'd like to get read in, brand new video already posted for every level, no matter whether you're down at McKee Foot Soldiers or you're all the way up at Brigade Commanders or any level in between. The video's up and posted now and ready to be watched. Love to have you over there. Best part, fully refundable. Fully refundable for the next 90 days. See, the difference between my Patreon channel and a lot of other Patreon channels or things that people are trying to sell you is if you buy something and then you get it shipped to you or whatever, and it's not for you, it's very, very difficult to return it and get your money back. At my channel, you can go there for the next 90 days and take the knowledge, kick the tires, see if it's for you, and maybe you take the knowledge and you still get a refund. That's fine. It's a risk I'm willing to take. God bless all of you who have. We have a huge group of people over there, and it's usually a very great discussion down in the comments below the videos. So without any further delay, let's get right to the topic. We're going to cover a couple things real quick. How many of you remember only about a week ago, right here on the YouTube channel, and 2 years ago, I made this exact same prediction. Hamas terrorists now targeting Jewish Americans. The violence is not over because there's some make-believe peace deal. And I warned. I said, folks like the Patriot Nurse, folks like Lindley Oz, they're going to be targeted right here in the heartland. Somebody like, oh, Florida Maquis, they'll never make it here. Not when Trump's president. Maybe if Harris had taken over. Or, really? Really? You ready for this? Sendler report. Lafayette, Louisiana. Breaking. FBI arrests pro-Hamas militant accused of joining October 7 attack on Israel in Lafayette, Louisiana. Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Mutadi is a resident of Lafayette, Louisiana, and has been for quite some time. They're already here. This is just one. So, confirmed. Now, those of you who think that at Florida Maquis, how can you be pro-dictator? I can't believe you're pro-dictator. The man wasn't a dictator. Hugo Chavez was elected. Hugo Chavez was a soldier, and he ran with Nicolas Maduro, a guy who was a bus driver. And they ran against an entrenched political elite class and beat them. There were two parties at that time in Venezuela back in how long ago was this? 99? 98? Two two parties that had agreed that only those two parties could be president. And the people stood up and said, no, we're not going to have this anymore. The U.S. loved that arrangement. You see, they had their own version of a Democrat and Republican uniparty. And the Democrat-Republican uniparty down in Venezuela got beaten by Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro, a soldier and a bus driver. They won elections. U.S. didn't like that. U.S. didn't like the fact that the vast majority of Venezuelans supported them. Even when things got rough, even when the currency was collapsed by U.S. interference in the markets. No, it wasn't socialism that caused their currency to spiral. It was the U.S. attack and U.S. embargo. The U.S. allied themselves with the Colombians to go in and denude the country of currency. Then when the Venezuelans had to print more because the currency had all gone to Colombia, then the Colombians would dump all the currency back into Venezuela, and then that caused the spiral. We proved that. We showed that on this channel multiple times. If the U.S. wants something, they take it. But they have made a massive miscalculation with the people of Venezuela. These are pro-Maduro, pro-Chavez rallies. You see, even if the guy was a dictator, even if he was, he would be their dictator. They would look, we will fix our own problems. We don't need the U.S. coming in and shooting boats out of the water and killing people and killing fishermen and doing all this kind of nonsense because they allege that somehow we're responsible for the drug problem. As if Venezuela was responsible for the drug problem in the United States, not Americans taking drugs. Not Americans taking drugs. Same people that talk about capitalism want socialism when it comes to this. They want, well, there shouldn't be drugs even available. That's socialism. When you say the government should step in and take away options from people, even if they're bad options, the first place we should start, it'd be all the fast food restaurants and then all the liquor stores. If we got rid of all fast food and all the liquor stores, do you know how many more people would be alive next year? Not dying of heart disease, not dying of alcoholism, alcohol-related deaths. But Maduro takes away guns. Yeah, sure he does. Sure he does. There are more armed people in Venezuela ready to fight than there are in most states in the United States. It's a country of about 28 million people. And believe me, there will be fighters coming in from Brazil and coming in from southern Colombia and coming in from Bolivia and Peru. If the U.S. does decide to put boots on the ground there, it's not going to end well. It'll be ugly. And you can look this up. You can hate Rocket. You can ask Siri. You can do whatever you want. You can ask and say, hey, did Hugo Chavez stand up in front of the United Nations, put his hands together, and say, give me your, in Spanish, of course, give me your crown, Jesus. Give me your cross, your thorns, so that I may bleed, but give me life because I have more to do for this country and these people. You can ask whatever authority. He did, in fact, say this. This is the man that you believe is the evil, terrible, horrible socialist dictator of Venezuela that led to Nicolas Maduro. That's why they call it Chavismo. And I think it probably needs stating. Most people would understand this, given the two attempts on Mr. Trump's life. Enforcing laws that prohibit running for president while you are simultaneously plotting to kill the man who's currently president, doing that doesn't make you a dictator. It makes you somebody who is enforcing the rule of law. You can't get with people and try to ally with foreign governments like has happened in Venezuela. They've gone to the United States. They've gone to Great Britain. They've gone to Canada. And they've tried to make alliances to bring people in to try to kill Nicolas Maduro, to try to kill Hugo Chavez. They killed Chavez. They gave him cancer. Nicolas Maduro learned. And he has sequestered himself. And he has multiple layers of security. And he understands now how the CIA works. So no, you can't do that. You can't be somebody living in a country that's trying to kill the current president and then also pretend that you're running for president at the same time. But we really know what this is all about, don't we? We really do. It's about oil. It's about gold. It's about a lot of other things too. But there's, I don't know if I'm even going to talk about this topic now because, well, I'm going to mention it because it's out there. I didn't bring it up, but RFK Jr. did. He said, quote, "Today the average teenager in this country, teenage boy, I guess he's assuming here, in this country has 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone of a 65-year-old man." And then in the same breath, he says, our girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier. And those people who are parents, who have kids, aren't having enough. But those first two facts, girls hitting puberty 6 years earlier, and the boys, the young men around them, only having the interest of half of the interest, I guess, of a 65-year-old man. I guarantee when I was, and a lot of my male counterparts were 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, our sperm counts and our testosterone levels were way beyond that of a 65-year-old man. Way beyond it. Today, it's down to half of that. What do you think the logical outcome of that is going to be? If the girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier, meaning their interest in boys is coming around much, much earlier, but the boys, the interest that does come around in girls is about a tenth of what it should be. What do you think the ultimate end of that is? What do you think the ultimate end of that is? I know these pictures bother a lot of people. That's why I'm not even going to zoom this one in. Maybe people have seen things not quite like they should. One more thing about Venezuela. This was a great post on X. A lot of stuff on X is garbage, but the utterly deranged report about how Maduro went to the U.S. and promised to give them all their oil and minerals and cut off all ties with Russia, China, and Iran, and embrace and love Israel is solely sourced to anonymous U.S. officials, which is code for the CIA, and has been laundered in the New York Times, CNN, AP, Reuters, Economist. Trump himself has now also repeated it. The entire Western media and political class is united in the most insane, deranged, pathetic, psyop propaganda campaign to try to foment a color revolution. That's perfectly stated of what's going on. And there was an article, I guess we'll cover this over Patreon, that came out in a women's magazine saying, "Men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls, filters, and curated personas, dabbling and scrolling. We miss you." And then this guy with, some half sense says, "Women will literally start a global witch hunt against flirting, the Me Too movement, successfully destroy it, forget they've done so, then start a new movement complaining that no one is hitting on them." Yeah. Just like here, Democrats want to offer health care to undocumented immigrants. Here's what that means. That's from Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. Fact check from 30 September 2025. Trump falsely claims Democrats want to give free health care to illegal aliens in government shutdown battle. Why did I just read those two different things that seem unrelated? Because people have also forgotten how ridiculously diluted it was back in 16, 17, 18, 19 when Trump and Rubio were trying to do their aid convoys and tried to send guys down there with black ops to take out Maduro. All this crap failed. It failed miserably. And this concept of there being this popular uprising in Venezuela. The financial situation is going to go so bad that they're going to rise up themselves and overthrow Maduro is ridiculous. All it did was open the door for China and Russia and Iran. If you wanted to open the door for China, Russia, and Iran, do exactly what the Trump administration did in its first try. Huge inroads into South America now, with economics and commerce and shipping. Instead of working with the Venezuelans, like we did under Ronald Reagan, even when they were socialists. They've been socialists for over 100 years. Most big oil nations are socialists because the vast majority of the revenue that runs the country comes from a national asset. There's no way you can possibly be a capitalist country when you're that small and you only pretty much have that one thing going on. So, I'll leave it there. Folks, keep your eyes open. I know people like to refer to their Saturday morning cartoons to determine who a dictator is, of course, because he's got the dark mustache. That makes him a dictator, right? That makes him the bad guy. But if you'd like to get read in on psychological operations, tactics, and techniques, the reason people believe what they believe and why they have completely forgotten things they should remember. Join us. Love to have you over there. We got all sorts of different levels, whatever God puts on your heart. There's also a spectacular, brand new video from the Patriot Nurse. Never want to be remiss. Never say this to a doctor. You see, to me, she may not agree with this. This is evidence. This particular, what she relates here, this is evidence that we're not living in a free market capitalist society. What she relates here is something that you would have expected out of a communist fascist dictatorship, withholding information from medical authorities because of the fear of how it's being used. And make no mistake, I agree with her. I absolutely agree with her. I would never reveal any type of information. I mean, I wouldn't be going to the doctor or any kind of a place like that unless literally I had a bone sticking out somewhere. I mean, that's what it would take these days for me to go to a doctor. So this advice she gives is spot on, but it's proof. But it's proof that this whole concept of American greatness and how wonderful it is here and how we're the bastion of freedom and that's why we should take over Venezuela is just, do you think Venezuelan doctors do this? Do you think down in Venezuela, Roman Catholic Venezuela, that they try to get people separated from their kids because their kids want to change their gender? Do you think that's going on in Venezuela? No. Do you think they lock people up down there just because they said they might have been depressed for 5 minutes? No. That doesn't happen in Venezuela. That happens here. So, once again, well said, Patriot Nurse. Excellent video. Brand new stuff. Guys, keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. And keep your minds open. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.